So, according to this, just in the very, very beginning, where there is not existing any Buddha and any sentient being, and the first Buddha who got enlightenment is the primordial, which is called primordial Buddha, the Samanbhadra.
Sonje kwe na sonje segere, Tomi sonje segere, doshe na jinon ti sonje san shinni daboti yin osungere.
So it is called as the first Buddha, the primordial Buddha, or that it is called the most earliest Buddha, or in the Dzogchen it explains that the primordial Buddha is the one from where it originates all the rest of the Buddhas. So then the primordial Buddha Samanbhadra just So the primordial Buddha Samanbhadra that just attained enlightenment because realized one's own true nature, and then the sentient beings just become sentient being and suffering, wandering in this cyclic existence because one could not realize one's own true nature. So in that way, because of the great omniscient wisdom mind of the primordial Buddha, realizing the suffering of all sentient beings, and then according to that, to benefit all sentient beings, then the Samanbhadra just manifest in form of the Sambhogaya, that it is not Sambhogaya is not exactly something very physical. It is like just appearance, kind of like an illusion that which appears from the emptiness.
No, said Tombi Ransu de Ngone, then Condi to the Nonchale, Ninsen to Tobatum, Mebaticon Ranjungi, there are Kitty Lasso Batum, then the watching be Chila Soba, from the Ranjungi. So
this the Sambhogaya form of the primordial Buddha just appearing in that way. Then there is spontaneous arising of self-awareness through which it just manifests all these 100 deities and many other deities to benefit all other sentient beings.
And
then also the five Buddha family also manifested from the self spontaneous awareness, from that being manifesting in form of the five wisdom, that which appears in form of five Buddha families.
Then
from the essence of the primordial Buddha's heart, that spontaneously it started just arising in form of the five Buddha families, which is not separate from the primordial Buddha's, the wisdom or the enlightened mind.
Di jara ringa la soba ehi rahna di jara ehi la so de na le da tratong me ba gene ranjong ki koron tu di kondo zombe tu ji sinlar ki ni tratong je pa don trai ngone tie jong de rongshun de.
So all these teachings or the transmission is not something that verbal or words or any kind of language. It is just like a self-arising absolute true nature being exactly transmitted to the 5 Buddha families, and without any just words or symbols, in that way just sitting into meditation, that through that they just realize all everything.
Telatene, the 2G was been a Nyingma word Marshall Mundu, Nagi Nite on the Nor Sha or somebody. Nite come the third shade of somebody, Nyingma Koro year Maravas, but then on it again, took in the Gondom to the Rahman, repeated him, like it is last of the Nibak is sending it out around huge young years.
So, relating with this explanation, just taking an analogy like the sunshine. So, the sun does not have a thought, just thinking, just make it bright, or does not have a thought, I want to bring some kind of warmth on this earth. So, when the sun rises, then all these activities just spontaneously happens. So, exactly like that, the primordial Buddha, just self-arising awareness, the absolute true nature of mind itself, just activates in that way without any thought, without any conceptual mind, without any dualistic feeling, that it naturally just appears, manifests in form of 5 Buddha families and then the 100 deities, and in that way just it started getting benefit to all sentient beings.
Tuji chamber Kondo Rangi, Tuji Shenlar Nipala Ten, no sentient Nanji Dandu or Chuku Longo Tuku Kusumji Tembite and Nibanda Kusum Chuku Longo Tuku Telegaris. So that they were message betos by
the power and by the just blessing of the spontaneous arising self-awareness of the primordial Buddha, in that way just without any effort, effortlessly it appears all these kind of teachings and then manifest these deities.
Rinpoche jata chigi tuki wabaji sanji ji kutang rongshun ki temba jibi jio dong tuni ji dorje chakungwa tena sanji kondo zombo tuji shinlam nipa ki rongshun ki namka tuji namki yinla shungba res.
So the like 100 different types of the precious things that being existing as the object of the worship, and then the self-arising tantras, and then the vajra that which arises from the dharma dhatu itself. So all these just being manifested from the essential nature or the heart of the primordial Buddha, that which just appears within this space spontaneously.
They said, Pena, two hindi timber, the random, the Nipak, Shunyaramado, the Zegawatimaris.
So all this happened just because of the great compassion of the primordial Buddha. Just it is radiant or manifested in that way. It is not something which is being just assembled of certain causes and conditions. It is just because of that there is the relationship between the primordial Buddha and then the sentient beings based on the accumulation of merit.
Nankana Nyingma Shadi Nyingma Korong Uchi Tengi Mena Ngarong Sole Nyingma Shalenda, Telenda, Troyelenda, Melenda, Naronto Tongo Chason Yongunduas.
So in this space, when the sun rises, that although the sun does not have any kind of thought, but we have that kind of emotional feelings, or the sun is hot or cold, or it does not just create light and so forth. So that is similar to that. The sun does not have any thoughts. So same like that, from the primordial Buddha's intrinsic awareness spontaneously arises all these, teachings.
Oti custom tuji niba dong senten sanan jung yo ba ti tegi dong senten zhong me ba jila rang hu ki ne pendela na me ba tere yo sungres.
So these all these teachings and transmissions based on the three kayas are just because of the great compassion of the Buddha, and then the certain accumulation of the sentient being through which we could get lots of benefit from these practices. So Holiness is just making a joke that maybe if we try to examine all these three kayas, possibly we could see or something or experience something. So in general, that wherever that the actual practice of the Dharma flourishes, and there is, it becomes naturally more powerful. So it is maybe something like, in America, you have just like all these Apollos that fling in the sky. So in that way, it explains about how all these teachings are transmitted through the manifestations of the primordial Buddhas. And thousands of aeons before that, there happened a Buddha named Ngompa Trembangompa, Buddha's name. So then that Buddha gave all these great perfection teachings. Then later on, after that, there is a Aeon named Tunden, which means like lots of conflicts. So during that Aeon, then there happened a Buddha named Takpasebe, that Buddha's name.
What they said, Pena, Thomas on the Chesun in a sentence, Cassette Torresena, Tantra Dunchi Temple, Sonji Gomotovares.
So the first Buddha, when he gave the great perfection teachings, so at that moment, how many beings were liberated is like a 70,000 were got.
70,000
about 700,000 beings were got liberate from this practice.
Then na pakule na doba chembo sonje so ki doba chembo chieso ne sanje dong mebati talan
From that onward, all these Buddhas just giving the doctrine instruction, the great perfection teachings and instruction, and according to that, whoever just applied into practice, there are just countless beings who attain ultimate realization or enlightenment.
Tata ngaro lo kingan di kapsu, tombo karba gaden tipa kishavala. Doji chongchen truba sonti ji truba doji chongchen bog medo permite de ranjon de jante Dorje sema shana dorje la to doba chim chi so gaba maris gombe sinjilane trova numbers.
So according to the history of this world, this our present world, then in the beginning there is a aeon that named as Khenchen Tsewang, and during that time then there is the great Buddha which is called Vajradharan, just being manifested on a lotus, and then he gave all these teachings to the Vajra Sattva and Vajrapani, not just a kind of teaching like kind of verbal, it is just sitting into meditation, and then through mind it is all everything is transmitted and they got realization.
Yung doji jungye rangi cheo mua tamba sanji misha baki shawa chune yung doba chimo chusumbaris.
Then later on, the Vajradharan, the great Vajradharan himself being manifested as one of Dzogchen master, as known as the name as Kyu Umbatamba, and then gave the Dzogchen teachings.
Kor kardung songji tongzani chusumbar datanjatai ju de las vasumaris.
So the practitioners or followers during that period of time is the 1,000 Buddhas, that which is going to happen within this aeon, and then the Dharma teaching which is called the Trathenju Ruttavechu, which means the main root tantra, that which explains about the about the great perfection.
Tatang aron sogi dikam dela sugi yung karba thomar ye thomaji duseji sugi o jetugi yomaris.
At present, there is no anyone who can just really explain or experience of the beginning of this aeon.
Ngasi zupo nere chungchung yomaris zupo hatu tembo yoris.
So during those times, during those times, the just physical form of the the beings are not same like us. It is like 7 times bigger than this.
Person do it so person don't chung it here ma to come person don't gumaris.
So in those days that they not necessarily have to walk, they can just naturally just fly from one place to another.
Too much to get the Nyingma da something something say to yours.
So in the beginning there is even not existing sun and moon, that just one's body has certain radiant of light, through that all everything just can be seen. And food is also not something like the materials, the external raw food that they usually eat, the like a samadhi or the meditation food. So it is just because in those days that there is almost no any afflictions like hatred and anger, desire, all these kind of afflictions are almost not existing, very tiny. And people, they just live like many hundred thousands, that they just live very long, not just short life. So then later on, that because of just giving rise to these 3 poisons or afflictions or the defilement, whatever it is, just becoming more gross and gross, and according to that all everything started just becoming materialistic, and then all everything started degenerating, that physical form also just becoming smaller, life is also getting shorter, and then we have to eat all these kind of raw foods, and all everything happened in that way.
Kala tomar tenga de se sa chure dejab te nyam mate ra hondi kala
So, for example, relating with the food, in the beginning, that they not necessarily have to eat raw foods. They just through the meditation they can survive. Then later on they have a desalu, which is kind of like the first crop in this world, and that when they feel a little bit hungry, then they eat a little bit, and then immediately it is just grown up.
Teri saya tata yasche wala te le ma soni saya kut nyar ndugar te nyarne te teri te soni she mi te tansoris.
So then unfortunately a very lazy fellow just he don't want to just go there every time to eat. So for tomorrow he just started just collecting more and kept for himself. Then that it disappeared. Of that when you eat this time, then it immediately usually grows, and because of his that bad activity, then that just disappeared. It could not grow immediately.
Then this is the Naroto Nemo Chera that they so Tantikanga Mumbo again. Zupo Chihim Kumajita, Zupo Pechin Resares, Kala and Pema, Ganata, and other shade child.
So in that way, everything started because of this, the increasing or the developing these afflictions become very gross and very intense, and then because of that, then everything started degenerating. Physical body also become just shorter, and then like all these foods, we have to face all these kind of difficulties and so forth. All these kind of problems are started just arising.
Dobache modern doesn't tuni again there magin years.
So all these Dzogchen teachings are being transmitted through 12 Dzogchen masters till now.
Oh, then Damba Dombo Damba Doji Jones, Damba Nimbadi, name and then Damba Ometupa Shumbaris.
So the first, the Dzogchen master is the Vajradharan, the great Vajradharan, and then the second is the place named like a Minji Jigdin, which means inseparable field, and in that there happened the Buddha named as Minjurwa. And this the master, the Dzogchen master gave the Dzogchen teachings. And after that there is happened a place named as Wejipungbu, which is like the aggregate of lights. Then there is a Dzogchen master named as Jigpa Chop, protecting from fear, and during his time he gave the Dzogchen teachings, and then just countless people got liberated. Then after that there happened a place named Changje Ngachung. So then there happened the Dzogchen master, the Shunu Rolpa number Tewa, the youthful, great loving master, and then this master also gave all the Dzogchen instruction and teaching, and countless beings were liberated. Then after that there happened a place that Toji Dumra, kind of like a great garden, and in that the great master Torje Chang, that also gave all the Dzogchen teachings, and then many beings were liberated. Then later on that happened the Sangha Rolpe Totu, which means the graveyard of the display of the tantric practice.
Then the
Dzogchen master Pao Topden named Pao Topden the great powerful. During his period, he gave all these Dzogchen teaching instruction, and just countless beings were still liberated. Then after that, then there is the place that named as Simbu Rulu Gawa. Then there happened a great Dzogchen master, Tongsung Trepe Gyalpo. Then he gave on the Dzogchen teachings, and then just many beings were liberated. And then later on that the Bulger Peak Mountain, that where the Dzogchen master Sarvatamba, that gave the Dzogchen teachings, and then many beings were liberated. Then after that, then there is the place named Sopo Yumbachen is the name of the place, and then there happened the Dzogchen master, the Tsewe Rolpa, Rebel Lotu, and that also gave the Dzogchen teachings instructions, and many beings were liberated. Then after that, there is the place that Bulger Peak Mountain, that the Dzogchen master Wisung Tepo, the great Wisung, and he also gave the Dzogchen, all the Dzogchen teaching, and many beings could be liberated. Then after that, at the place the Buddha Gaya, that great Dzogchen master Ngontok Gyalpo, the king of the liberation, also gave the Dzogchen teachings, and got just many beings liberated.
Go to the Sessi
Then after that, this the present, our protector, the Shakyamuni Buddha, that in the place the Sergya Gyalpo, Sergya the field, and then the Shakyamuni Buddha gave these, all these Dzogchen teachings.
Oh, then I told you, Nazi Nongorchi Gonzan, then I told you, Kiran to hear the Maris, and now Sonsu Sambasane, you got Tondichi,
So all these are the 12 Dzogchen masters who gave the Dzogchen teachings. So it is not something that we could just figure out or we could experience. It is that all the great realized beings and bodhisattvas, that they can just understand and they can experience all about this. So according to our view is that the Shakyamuni Buddha, just who got enlightenment in Buddha Gaya, and then he gave all these teachings, just kind of like a common history about the Shakyamuni Buddha, that what we could understand about that. So according to the lesser vehicle or the Hinayanas, that they don't believe that Shakyamuni Buddha gave all these tantric teachings, and so they don't accept in that way. But all these great bodhisattvas and many of the tantric followers, that they just experience and they know that Shakyamuni Buddha gave all these tantric teachings.
dunkorji padero chedane dunkorji sungwas dingondra.
So, for example, like in India, that there is a little bit towards South India, that there is a place, Patendabung, where that Shakyamuni Buddha gave the Kala Chakra Tantra teaching and empowerment. Not only that, Shakyamuni Buddha gave many other different higher tantric teachings and empowerment, but it is just because we could not just understand.
Taro tata dela dosen tamba tuni rese taro denese da maomban jasa shambang ngomro donde sonde meba maji bad sonde tontani jangere tena tandi tigo koron sonde tabi nongale e doati michu son de kor tombo de ba sonde de govonto tene logere on déjà tout le monde ngole tene yong maris.
So this is all about that the 12 Dzogchen masters that who gave the Dzogchen teachings, and many countless beings were already liberated. And then also it is not just only the Shakyamuni Buddha period, that after this Maitreya Buddha till to the last last 1000 Buddha, the Mevathaya, till to that according to their individual bodhisattva and realized beings, that still they could just receive all these Dzogchen teachings and transmissions. Other than that, just it is not something common to everyone. So as explained earlier about the three transmissions, like mind transmission and symbolic transmissions, so this is the first, the mind transmission lineage. So then according to the second lineage, the symbolic indication lineage, according to that, from the primordial Buddha's heart spontaneously started arising the 42 peaceful deities, and then the Avalokiteshvara and the three protectors, and according to that, all these teachings were transmitted. So all these deities and bodhisattvas, they just manifest, just countless being manifesting in that way, and then getting benefit to all sentient beings. Like Avalokiteshvara in China, there is the Potala, the holy place of the Avalokiteshvara, where he gave the Dzogchen teachings to the some of the gods, and then also to the Nagas. Then towards the south, the mountain named as Tunzin, the holy place of the Avalokiteshvara, also gave teachings to the Nagas. Then towards the north, the holy place of the Vajrapani, named as Changlochen, then he started giving the Dzogchen teachings to the Gandharvas and so forth. Then to the west, to the western side, that there is the pure land of the Dakini, then just giving all these Dzogchen teachings by the Dakini Bajra Yogini, the Dzogchen Nyingma, and then just giving all these Dzogchen teachings. Then there are 24 holy places that within the India then and other places, that within these all the Dakas and Dakinis were just giving all the Dzogchen teachings.
Siyon doba chimbe chuse par chugo kundu zombe nile tuji wazale doba chimbe chunkur sune tuba risu ngomola sobale chunkur gombe shinjilam sun yoba tena tanjiti tene kandroma muna rabache la soba kandroma muntra momboki nyene tena tanji songa ji chue tanji kandroma tanji songa chue tanji doba chimbe chu o tene
So then all these Dzogchen teachings are mainly being through the blessing of the mind transmission of the primordial Buddha, that being manifested like all Aksharas, so forth, like three protectors, and then also the Dakinis, and then they also transmitted all these teachings, and moreover the Dakini Muna Ravachin, who just preserves all these Dzogchen teachings, and also just giving to just hundreds and thousands of the disciples who just practice the Dzogchen.
Rirab titer shene la tomba la gadoba timotone tomba kor monto donte bason jevares.
Then the Manjushra went to the top of the Mount Meru and started giving all the Dzogchen teachings to the Brahmins and all the gods, and just 100,000 of them they got liberated.
Lai khonzon number jai khonzon none samo jajin la number yong doba chime chugo monto ti sonje bare.
Then in the above the Mount Meru, where there is the celestial palace of the king of the god, the Indra, that within that Manjushri gave the Dzogchen teachings, and many got liberated.
Lanne sundu lai wombo traden chosung la sola an number yong doba chime chugo sone monto ngaton sonje bare.
Then other three places of the god realms, that the head of the god known as the Takten Chokyung, and so forth, just Manjushri gave the Dzogchen teachings, and many thousands got liberated.
Zambolinde on number yong shane leta mitima me toba to sebala doba chime chugo gone monto ti sonje bare.
Then within this our world, that Manjushri just appeared and then gave the Dzogchen teachings mainly to the human beings known as Lithabi Timetrakpa, and after all they just got the Dzogchen teaching, and about 100,000 they got liberated.
Serejo so Johnson shane Louis Jarvo la gadoba monto ti sonje bare.
Then all Lokeshwara just went into the Nagaland, inside the ocean, Nagaland, and then gave the Dzogchen teaching, and just 100,000 of the Nagas they got liberated.
Lono symbol, symbol loaded tadela, and Yamna Seredi Dobachemo Chukone, Kornaja Sonjevares.
Then towards the southwest, that Manjushri went there and just gave the Dzogchen teachings to the just gods, and that about 500 beings were got liberated and just enlightened.
In Zambolin Dinashan, Oje, Jagar Singer, Kachak, Leur, Lasoba, Ne, Dunla, Senedi, King, Dun to Tourney, to the Dobachimo Sone, Mutore, Son Jetavares.
Then all Lokeshwara just came to this world, where there are seven pure lands of the Avalokiteshvara, like the India and Nepal, and then Lithabi and so forth. There are Tibet, that is 7 holy places, and then gave the Dzogchen teachings, and each of these 7 places 100,000 beings got enlightenment.
Sana dojira son neji kanda don koron tebala chungo gone koton to ti son jebare.
And then the Vajrapani went towards the north, where he gave teachings to the Nujins, the Gandharvas, and about 1,000 beings were just got enlightenment and liberated. Then the Manjushri just went in the space, and where there are just 100,000 of beings, and started giving the Dzogchen teachings, and through that about 800,000 beings were just got enlightenment and then liberated.
sonje de temba mar nola nei di kona o tende tila tene tambiri de tramanga gi soji sonje la sora mombo tabala tene sana do jino sundushani tene tambiri de tramanga tene songa chingo korvares.
So according to this our present world, the history of that how all the Dzogchen teachings just came exist is that there were 5 main disciples who went to the Sri Lanka, on that where there is the mountain, and then doing that supplication to all the Buddhas, and through that the Vajrapani appeared there, and then he gave all the Dzogchen teachings, which is being preserved by all these Daginis. As these the main 5 disciples doing supplication to Vajrapani and all the Buddhas, so according to that they just all the Dzogchen teachings and tantric teachings that came exist on this earth, some just like in form of text, just they fall on the particular places like rainfalls.
de la Tower Shebala, Sai Yunpu, Senod Hiseva, Teni Seva Pune, Tene Ojen Toto Tenjiudu, Denikutumbares.
Then moreover this Dzogchen, the all the Dzogchen teachings that to benefit within this our world, then there is the place known as Orkin Thorjochen, and that the one of the gods, like a god's son named as that Samlakchen, and manifested there as just a son, and then these Dzogchen teachings started just giving.
Dela dini doji semba ki hiazine doji sembe jeto dobache meje motor tujuta ki thamchi dini dela sumares.
So this is just the manifestation of the Samlakchen, that he received all the 6,400,000 all the Dzogchen teachings through the Vajrasattva.
Master on the Lana Dorje Namdrolling Monastery, they indi, then banded a mombo to change it, but non con lot jet and the banded a 20 madon, the 20 shop with Nagan, Canada of Huares.
So this just child being just born, from the birth, just holds a Vajra in his hand. And then when he's just only 8 years old, he started just having debate with the great scholars, about 500 scholars or panditas, and they could not subdue him, and then they started just doing prostration to him and accepted as their master. So just the king just hearing all about these stories, and then he became so pleased. So that is why he gave the name to this child as Garab Dorje, which means that great happiness holding Vajra. So So this Garab Dorje just started just writing down all the Dzogchen teachings, and also just went into the space in between the clouds, and then just many different beings, they, to those he gave the teachings, and about 300,000 beings were got enlightenment.
They say number yongi lutene number sines kan Garab Dorje tanatone Garab Dorje lomma tombo tsaba no te tsaba sene tsaba madone te tama kan lomma sene number kine gechiune number kine zobatim budget stone Tobache modela system de non de son menor de son de con so chez what the legend tobache chugoston monto jet de son jevares.
Then later on that there is one master named at Manjushri Mitra Jambe Shengen, that he was predicted by Manjushri that if you want to attain enlightenment within one lifetime and wants to benefit all sentient beings, then you just see this Garab Dorje, the Dzogchen master. And then he went there, and in the beginning they had debate, and then Manjushri Mitra, he could not defeat Garab Dorje, and then he accepted as his master, and then he received all the Dzogchen teachings. And then the Manjushri Mitra, he has written a commentary on the Dzogchen that is known as outer and inner and secret. In that way, he just started giving the Dzogchen teachings to his disciples. About 800,000 beings were just got enlightenment and liberated.
They say Janone Kepakir says, Tenila Sere de Luntene, then a young number Kenya that the number Kenyan Janone do the Cabo Dunton to Chaconsala Mare Pastele, Cabo Dunton to Dagan Joto Basene, then a young Kongi Dobatimichu Kersiala URS.
Then after that, the Shri Singha is from China, and he was predicted by Avalokiteshvara that if you want to attain enlightenment within one lifetime and wants to benefit, then you have to receive this teaching from the Manjushri Mitra, the Jambe Shengye, and Jambe Shengye is in India. So then he just came from China to India within 7 days, that his foods are not really touching on the ground, kind of like a miraculous way. He just reached to India, and then he received all the Dzogchen teachings from the Jambe Shengye. And then after that, the Manjushri, Shri Singha, after receiving all the Dzogchen teachings, and then he got enlightenment, and then he went back to China and he gave all these Dzogchen teachings in China, and about 700,000 were attained enlightenment and got liberated. Then later on, that one of the great scholar of the Western India, that known as Bimala Mitra, and then the Eastern scholar known as the Yeshido or Jnana Sutra, and also the Padmasambhava, they all three together went to China to receive all these Dzogchen teachings from the Shri Singha, and then they all together received all these Dzogchen teachings. And then Bimala Mitra and his disciple, about 600,000 were got enlightenment and liberated. And then Guru Padmasambhava, he went in front of the primordial Buddha Samanbhadra, and he received just countless Dzogchen teachings. And then Guru Padmasambhava, he went into the Khaying Namda, which is kind of like a pure space rim, and from there, the from Vajrasattva, he received countless Dzogchen teachings.
Yung Kyabje Penor Rinpoche Guru Rinpoche Kundu Zombala City Yogi Department Basemare.
And then again, just Kyabje Penor is just a place that where where the great master from which this Padmasambhava received the higher tantric teaching named as Siddhi Yoga. And then from a place Jigbe where that the manifestation of the Vajrapani, from which Guru Padmasambhava received the Ati Yoga, the great perfection teachings. Then later on, Guru Padmasambhava received the Dzogchen empowerments and teachings from the Dakini Tsewang Yishi.
Tabu Maratakan Guru Rinpoche, Sondi Noata Yasdine, to the chamber, Tayon to Jesu, Dobachamo, Tibetan Rasemares. Then again, Guru Rinpoche went to the Nepal. There is a place named as Maritika, and then from Amitabha Buddha just received all the Dzogchen empowerments and teachings. Guru Rinpoche Tomar Dobachimi Chugur Chungogone. So the first time that when the Guru Padmasambhava, when he gave the Dzogchen teachings, out of that about 1300,000 beings got enlightenment and then liberated. So these are mainly out of those three lineages. This is the symbolic indication lineage. Then all these Dzogchen teachings and practices were being just blessed about like a 1.10 million, something like that. About 6 million, just teachings were just blessed and kept into hidden treasures. Then the fruition part of the practice through which one can attain liberation, about 700,000 volumes of the Dzogchen teachings were blessed and kept into hidden treasure. From readers Saya to and then the great profound liberation practices, the Dzogchen practices were kept into hidden treasure, about like 60 million practices. And then all the Dzogchen teachings through which that transmitting through the listening, about 1,300,000 just being blessed and kept into hidden treasure. So this is all these teachings were kept hidden into treasure to benefit in the future, for the future generations, that they could just take it out and then they can just get benefit through these teachings. So in that way, the Dzogchen teachings
all these practices are really very profound and very vast. So out of that, in general, it is just it is the time that the teachings of the Shakyamuni Buddha, in certain level, it is kind of like a degenerating. But anyhow, that if during the period of that human being's life expansion from limit of 60 till just degenerating till like a 10-year-old, between that it is the special period of time for the practice of the Dzogchen practices, through which one can really achieve some kind of realization within that period. So it has been explained in all these teachings that during that period of time that the obscuration of the mind itself suddenly get purified, and through that whoever just practice the Dzogchen, that the obscuration of mind get purified, and there is the possibility one can attain ultimate realization. So just it seems like it is the actual time of the Dzogchen teachings, because all you guys are so interested and just devoted to receive these Dzogchen teachings. So it seems like it is the right time. So it is the right time, but if one could not just apply into right practice, then still one cannot really just experience it. So I'm just joking that if you go on just having all these kind of hesitations and doubt and just doing that practice, then it will remain in that way. So other than that, it is a right time to do the Dzogchen practices. Then later on, that Guru Padmasambhava went to Tibet, and then he gave all these Dzogchen teachings, transmitted to all his disciples, mainly Bimala Mitra, and then the Nyangbin Tingting Sambo. So according to that, there are just a whole cycle of teachings on the Dzogchen.
Guru Mochi Tena Tanti Mema Maju Matanti Dzogchen Kamaji Travelers, then Guru Mochi Ben Delka Tome by Bear, Delka Particular Dovati Michi Meva Maris, or Tena Tanti.
So then the Bima Nyingtik, which is mainly being transmitted through like a Bimala Mitra, all these are in generally known as the Kama. Within the Nyingma tradition, there is Kama and Terma, and then other just the Guru Rinpoche, he just gave all these Dzogchen teachings. So these all transmissions are just related to the traveler revealers, that which is known as the lineage, the subligation lineage, and then the meaning lineage, and then the transcribing lineage.
Then the kind of Teja Jibasa, took Minjur Dorje, he kind of man, Chedot, now the man of the long tanky. Then the kind of Nangi, Tobati Jute. What then I cover Tendation Mare, then cover Janji Jibasian, Lama Senior Demijin, T. Di Lama de Saint Tibet, Nyandon Menautan, Erong Jella, Nyandon Tobasia, or Janatan, a couple of Dandy Juba, or Dandy.
So then the Kandoteje Juba, which means that the being the lineage of the transmitting through the Dakinis, that through the Dakinis all these teachings were Namche teachings were transmitted to Minjur Dorje, terrestrial repealer, and in that way till now it is being transmitted. And then the cup of Tenji Juba, which is like that the receiving the actual permission of that practice from the master. So there are certain type of dreams and certain kind of experiences through which one could have strong devotion, and through which one do that kind of practice, and then one could just experience something. So these are the just other transmissions of the lineage.
Jara Gumbi Juba, Dai Juba, Gundon, Hingu Juba, Kanto, Tete Juba, Cover, Tenji Juba, Teji Manam Juba, Juba, Tanti, Dileton, Yavachiris.
So in that way, this the Buddha in the palm of hand, this Namche transmission, this doctrine practice itself has all this lineage, like a mind transmission lineage and symbolic transmission lineage, and then the listening oral transmission lineage, and then the Dakini transmission lineage, and then the master transmission lineage, and then the script transmission lineage. All these lineages are, all these 6 different lineages are just condensed here within this practice.
Minjur Dorje la Papa Shere, the Ginusum Hersdine, Lama of Lomata, Minjur Dorje, and Shere, the Ginusum Javares, they didn't die.
So this practice about the 4 foundation that Avalokiteshvara just appeared in front of treasurer revealer Minjur Dorje, like master and disciple, and then each and every teachings were given in detail. In that way, just treasurer revealer got transmitted.
This Minjur Dorje na Gondon Hingu Juba, or Denema Young.
Then from to Minjur Dorje, the treasurer revealer Minjur Dorje, from that onward, then all this oral transmission lineage is just being followed.
To Minjur Dorje, Merotana, Hupa Party Singalas over Mombochi Center, this day in the Kanto Tete Juba, Hongiris.
So the Tugu Minjur Dorje, the treasurer revealer who happened in the 16th century, is also just known as the incarnation of the great translator Berotana, and then the Shubupegi Senge, one of the great masters of one of the 25 disciples of Guru Pema Sambhava. So in that way, there is also the transmission of the Dakinis.
Seong took Minjur Dorje, Tata Dojok Damba, Dorje number so Majibi, Nuni, then 2 December, Sere Geni, then Tuato Yobi, Son Samaris. So
this the treasurer revealer Minjur Dorje during the Shakyamuni Buddha's time, that he just before the Shakyamuni Buddha's time, that he just applied into practice of the Avalokiteshvara Tantra, and in that way one got the actual realization through that. So in that way, just manifesting himself in form of many different masters, and giving and benefiting lots of sentient beings. And during the Shakyamuni Buddha period of time, then he is being born as the Anand. Then later on, just constantly benefiting sentient beings, and when Guru Pema Sambhava came to Tibet in those days, then he manifested in form of the great translator Berotana, and then the Shubupegi Senge.
Then you see a Mamboji Senti known the demand about Nati Shoni, Karkato Lama Wanda Jato Sabatini, Shiakivano.
Then later on, just being benefiting, sentient being constantly through his many lifetimes, and then in Tibet, in Kham, there is a Kadok monastery. In that he is born as a lama, just known as Wangda Jato.
Wangda Jato, Nega Roach Nom says Lumban, Minjur Dorje said Shiaki, so Kondikati number.
So that this Lama Wangda Jato, when he is going to pass away, then just he accepted that he is going to be manifest or incarnate as the treasure revealer Minjur Dorje.
Chame Karma Chame you said it, come roaches at the Norris, or Karma Chame. Some Hindu like you do it, Chame took Minjur Dorje to share at a year, but Chame Chamberes.
Then the Changme Rinpoche just he was doing his practice in a retreat, and during that period of time he just realized that the Minjur Dorje was being incarnated in that area.
Then Minjur Dorje Ami Kopora Marsh, say when I don't the Clan on the Kyabje Penor Rinpoche.
And treasure reveal of Minjur Dorje just when he's just born, from the beginning, it is that he could receive teachings, and he could just have the vision of all these deities when he's just only a baby.
Chame Rinpoche Golo Chutan, the part Chame Rinpoche, only use a part dental. Tini Chame Rinpoche one do the Yegalas of what in the Puvaris.
So anyhow, then the Changme Rinpoche, he brought Minjur Dorje to his place, and then he started just teaching all these, scripts, and then the empowerments and transmissions, everything he gave to Minjur Dorje.
You get something to tear and die something to Changme Rinpoche and the Minjur Dorje Slam Makubaris.
So anyhow, that for Karma Changme Rinpoche not necessarily have to teach everything in detail, all reading the scripts and writings.
Daru de mount on the Changme Rinpoche, they chin down on the Nike Carisers, you get down from Changme Rinpoche, Minjur Dorje, so 10 years.
And moreover, that Minjur Dorje, he just shows certain different scripts and writings, and asks to Karma Changme, do you know how to read all these? And in that way he just started showing back.
Changme tend to maintain number 10 years.
So anyhow, that Changme Rinpoche just pretend that he really don't know how to read all this.
Then Minjur Dorje is lot on the Shas Dine, then Minjur Dorje, Changme Rinpoche Master on the Changme Rinpoche 23 years.
So then all the deities appeared in front of Minjur Dorje, and then the deities just gave all this teaching to Minjur Dorje, and then Minjur Dorje just started giving teaching to Karma Changme, and then he started writing down everything in text form.
Tomar Changme Rinpoche, Minjur Dorje, again Lamanda Jire, then Loti Tanjigeni, then Changme Minjur Dorje, Lamadon, Chedores.
So in the beginning, Karma Changme Rinpoche is the master of the Minjur Dorje. Then later on, that Karma Changme became his disciple, at the same time treasure holder.
So did not let go to teeners on the to Dunji Pale, this last on the Kyabje, no time.
So the treasure reveal of Minjur Dorje, when he was 11-year-old till to 17-year-old, till to that he just have the clear vision of all these deities, and he got transmitted all these Namche teachings.
And the Mondo, Doche, teacher, Toga, the Korsanti, to the temple, Rondolke. Minjur Dorje, Lama Lamata Shelley, to the Chemo Minjur Dorje Cat Danny, the Chusere, Karimati Nongiris.
So that mainly the Avalokiteshvara, the great compassionate deity, just appeared in front of Minjur Dorje, and he gave all these teachings just continuously for many days, like a master and a disciple. In that way, he was being taught all these teachings.
So
this Namche, the space Dharma, in generally it explains that it is very profound, and also the blessing and transmission of it, transmissions are just an unbroken lineage. So the Avalokiteshvara and many other meditation deities, Yidams, they all just directly gave all these teachings and transmission to Minjur Dorje. So up to this is the just condensed or brief, history about the lineage, and then the how these doctrine teachings came into exist.
That the nature choosing love chemo day, that cheper shebala, lama the lomani depends in the Hagioris.
So that's also most blessing teaching. The Dharma itself has to depend upon a master and as a disciple.
Lama don loma, the tumba dancing yamjura, power don lovanju, lomin deva toverchas, the lama the loma de Dada would sound on Tudish and loved the Tokyo Mari, the what don't change the Tudish and love Tokyo Mari. They ended the Tomar Lama de Yapo Che Gugures.
So this is to receive all these doctrine teachings, to do actual practice, then in the beginning one need to find it out the relationship between the master and the disciple, so that if the master and the disciple is like equally qualified, then cannot get benefit. So that is why in the beginning one must have to find it out a qualified master. In generally it explains that the Lama, the master, who has a fault and who has a quality.
Lama Shan Yoba got Tuja Chemo Mebaji, Lama Korong Naje Chemo Yoba, Lumbo, File Sedi, Khenchen Tsewang Yoba, Sherab Chunghi, Nelu Danha Magoba.
So the fault of the master is that the master oneself is not great learned, and at the same time oneself have so much pride or just a kind of great ego, and at the same time oneself is so ignorant for all these kind of teachings, and then not having enough wisdom, and not having the actual realization of the ultimate true nature. So someone who does not have that is the fault of the master.
Then sharing the Doran Jitan Abaha Magova, then Lana Duva, then Donding Chemoyova, Yen Leteva Chuma.
And then the master who does not understand about the actual practices of the generation stage and completion stage, and then oneself has very strong ego, and there is no any compassion to the followers, and that is also a fault.
Then Gendal Tanu Meva, Gendal da Kukur Meva Tanu Mejeva, then Lota Chemo Sendua, then Ronon Chencha Chuma. Then also
that the unqualified master just not having a pure perception to others, and then having a wrong view within oneself, and then there is just a strong distinguishing between just discriminating between the groups that belong to oneself and others, and that's also conceptual mind is the fault of master. So whoever have that sort of fault that one should not just take as one's master.
Na gorum mochi so na ti nimi ka so chepa na ta se gyu me ti nima ge che se me na ge sonji ri ka dong thumbo se ne che yong ta ba nyang so me ne so.
So as the Guru Moche, the Padmasambhava, he has predicted in his teachings that in the degenerating period of time that followers, they could not do actual practice according to the actual instructions.
Che so nyen long nyen sa le dong so nyen long me ba gam le ni ba ma sa kon yen la he ron ma me kon yen la wan ko ron ma ro la yen la nyang dong thit ta.
So it is just it is explained that someone just when one receives the teachings or instruction, then not really doing the meditation practice by oneself, and then still one wants to just give the teachings to others, and not being ripened one's own true nature, and then started just giving empowerments to others, and not being liberate oneself, and started giving all these kind of instructions to others, and that sort of that sort of things happens in the degenerate period of time.
Magona koi number toba matona to bizun ron madona troi nyamte. Oh, that is.
So that although the teachings, the profound teachings that one has not really understood, but still pretending that one, I understand everything, and then although one does not have realization, but still pretending, I have some kind of realization, and oneself is not liberated, but still pretending, I'm just certain level of liberation. So that's also just is a kind of fault.
Gandelege ron madoro gena shepe gena peme toba nyanyo kat tomba na bon. What is it?
And just doing meditation, just doing the meditation, one could not get liberate, and just whatever the teachings just being given to others that could not benefit. So it is like a just empty word.
Retreatant do not tongchen do not reading dote touch about you meba. Then the mug again go.
Then there is there is lots of thoughts that just feeling, if you're just staying in a just a remote isolated area for retreat, then thinking, I want to go down to city, and staying in city, then thinking, I want to go to retreat, and then just not really having any kind of determination what one really want to do about their practice.
Rongi rije don rongi postu kyordo gi yela mire miyo rongi kono lo tesano demba could tiges dan tajimeba.
So just being worried of that losing one's rank, then even one does not understand the actual teachings, then not asking to other masters, and not following the teachings of other masters, and then just not having determination within oneself, then feeling it is kind of like lots of doubts and hesitation inside.
Sisurne kebal tsumbo yaboji mtsurde karanjina tado suza ndesen jigene tendencies.
So external appearance of that sort of follower, that it appears like just following the precept, and just kind of like doing the practices, and then even one do some prayers or chantings or just practices, it is also something related with the afflictions.
Ronla yende chit jawoji putani mebaji la yenji taji tra zabotele ndabotele pa chin jawode shaleje.
So once